Right, welcome back everyone. This is another Mondeo video. This is the MK3 ST220. What we're doing today is going to be doing the oil change on it. As you've seen in the previous video, I've done the spark plugs and inlet gaskets, and we've also had a bit of a mouthful today, so we'll get this opened up. So we'll see who this is from. And this is from Dick Hawker, I think his surname was, wasn't it? Dick Hawker. And he's another small engine repair guy. So if you haven't got Dick, go over and give him a sub and say that we sent you. We'll get this put up on the sticker board when we get home, Dick, because at the minute I'm at my dad's house. So yeah, so if you ain't got Dick, go over and say hello to him. So let's get this car jacked up and let's get the oil out of it and filter changed. Right then, I'm going to be actually doing it a bit of a different way today. What I normally do is I jack the car up, get under there, drop the oil through the sump drain plug. But what I thought I'm going to have a go at doing today, because otherwise I'll get a big bowl of oil then, is I'm going to use my dad's oil extractor. So what I'll do is I'll take the dipstick out and I'll drop this down the dipstick hole. It can only go so far till it's at the bottom. And I'm going to get the majority of it out like that if I can. So let me just get this dipstick out. I'll just drop that up there for now. And I'm hoping it'll be long enough to get down there, which should be, because that's right, that's at the bottom there. Yeah, so I'm going to pump it now and hopefully get a majority of the oil out this way, and then we will take the sump plug out after just to make sure we've got everything out. But this just contains the oil in a lot better way, so I'm just going to get this done now and I'll come back to you. Right, then, so that's had about 10 pumps there. The oil is coming out, as you can see. This engine oil is warm because I've just drove the car from my house to my dad's, which is about 2 miles. So I would recommend, if you're going to do it this way, maybe just run your car for 5 minutes or so just to get it a bit thinner to get it up this tube. I just thought this would be a bit of a cleaner way of doing it with less mess, so then I haven't got a big bowl of oil left at the end of it. So right then, I don't know if you can actually hear that on the mic now, but it sounds like we're getting to the end of it because it's sort of like glugging now, so it's just sucking up the last of what it can get at the minute. So what we'll do now, we'll just let that finish off for a second or two, which I think is nearly there now because it's slowing right down. And then we'll get the car jacked up because we're coming from underneath to get the oil filter. It's just underneath at the front there. So we'll get it jacked up. We'll get the old oil filter off. We will take the sump plug off, all being well, and just see if there's any remnants in there. And we'll get the new one put on, sump plug back in, and it will hopefully be quite a clean job. Normally it can get a bit messy when you take the plug out with all that oil behind it waiting to run out. So hopefully we've just making a bit of a cleaner job of this. So let's get it jacked up. Right then, so we're under the front of the car now. As you can see, the oil filter doesn't look that old on it, to be fair. I know the previous owner said he did have it done, so it does look like it hasn't long been done. And there's the sump nut now. The car is actually
leaning back a bit, obviously being in air on the front two axle stands, so whatever oil is in here should hopefully be waiting behind that plug. So I'm just going to get a socket now, and we'll get that off, and I'll just get a little bowl just to catch the last remnants what's in there.
Right, so I've got you in the best I can here. It's actually a 15mm bolt on there, and we'll just try and get that nip down. There we go, that weren't too tight. So we'll get that there, and I don't think there's going to be much in here at all. It'll be interesting to see how much actually comes out. And I'm hoping actually to get the old oil filter off without taking all this front plastic off at the bottom here. So, right, the bucket's there ready. Here it comes. Well, there's a bit more than I thought that would be in there. And it is well black, so it is due a change. Right, so we'll just let that drain off, and we'll try and get this oil filter off now while that's just draining off. Right then, I can't show you too much of it here because the exhaust is actually in the way. So what I'm using is the old chain method. There is different ways of doing this. The straps, or get some big grips around it. But this is what we've got here, so this is what we'll make do with. I'm just going to get an extension. So let's get that on there. We'll get that up there. What way is that going? So it wants to be going that way. Right then, there we go. Right, that's moving, that's good. Right, that's coming loose, so that's good. I'm just going to put that plug back in now. That's finished draining out. And then I can use the bucket to catch any oil. Right then, so that's pretty loose now. So we should start to see a bit of oil drop. There it comes. I'm just going to let that run out for the time being. Right then, this is the actual oil that's going in it. This is the OEM oil that actually Ford put in from new. So you can get this on Amazon, and we bought it in 20 litres. Me and my dad went halves on that, obviously, because it's cheaper to buy this. I think this was 42 quid, I think. And originally I did buy 6 litres of oil for 38 quid, I think. So I did send that back, and we went halves on this. So we can both do our cars, and there'll still be a bit left for if we need to do a top up or for another oil change. So what I'm going to do now is just pour a bit into this jug. So what I've done now is I've just put some oil in the filter, just so it's got someone in there on the first start up, and this oil, just rub a smear of it just around that rubber O-ring there, just to give it a bit of lubrication for when we tighten it up. So what we're going to do now, this only needs to be hand tight as well, by the way, so let's get back under here and have a look. Right then, so we're going to lift this up in here. And just get that on straight. The last thing you want us to do is cross thread this. There we go. Oh, that's the battery's just run out on the torch, so you might have gone a bit dark now. So now I've just cleaned them drips up. Get all that out of the way. Now I can move that drip bucket. Yeah, battery's gone on that. And now I'm just going to nip it up by hand. And that's where the oil on that seal helps you a bit. It just lets you get that bit of a tighter turn on it because it's lubricated, which I'm happy with that. Clear all this old residue up. It will burn off that anyway, but it's just good practice to clean it up where you can. Try that again. Just come back in it with a fresh hand. That's solid now. Right, what we can do now is we can get it off stands and we'll start putting some oil back in it. So I'm just going to put it back on all four wheels and then we'll put the oil back in. Right then, so we've got the cap off. We'll just start putting some oil back into it. And I'll put this half a jug full in, and then I'll just have a quick look underneath, make sure we're not leaking from anywhere, and then we'll get it topped right up. Right then, so I don't think we're far off it now. As you can see, we're actually bang on the mark there. So what we're going to do now is just run it up for a minute, make sure the oil light goes off on the dashboard, and we'll have another look underneath it just to check that we've got no problems. So let me just start it up. Right, so we just want to watch for that oil light to go out. Which that's gone out now, so I'm happy with that. All looks good there. I should have a quick look underneath. And it all looks lovely under there. No unwanted oil leaking. Right then, so yeah, I think we'll leave that here for this little video, and that's how you do a oil change on a Mondeo MK3 ST220. So that's how you do it my way anyway. I'm not saying everyone's going to do it this way, with an oil pump doing it that way, but it just saves a little bit more of a mess, I should say. So also I'll leave a link in the description below for Dick Walker. If you haven't got Dick again, I'll just say pop over and say hello to him. He does all the small engine stuff. So we're going to leave it here for this one, and until then, we'll see you next time.